Who's how, Rams how, you know who we rollin' with. Golden Rams Buzz Podcast, hit like, share and link. Who's how, Rams how, you know who we rollin' with. Golden Rams Buzz Podcast, home of the champions. Who's how, Rams how, you know who we rollin' with. Golden Rams Buzz Podcast, hit like, share and link. Who's how, Rams how, you know who we rollin' with. Golden Rams Buzz Podcast, home of the champions. When I need a scoop on the league, I hit up the dream team. Golden Rams Buzz.
Welcome to another episode of the Golden Ram Buzz Podcast with Damon and Sal, sponsored by La Brea Bakery Bread, Recover 180, and Navarro's Taqueria. Today, our guest will be Nicole Sebrasky, Patriots fanatic. With that being said, Sal, the Rams lose 23-15 to the Miami Dolphins on Monday night under the headlights. It was a Cardi game. Cardi made 5 field goals of 34 yards, 55 yards, 53 yards, 22 yards, and 31 yards, Sal. And the Rams lose 23-15. They didn't score a touchdown. And it just seems like they came out flat. They thought they just came out, okay, we won 3 games in a row. It's going to be an easy victory because Miami's 2-6 and Miami's hanging by a thread. And, Tua, we thought, the defense is going to go off on Tua, which they had 4 turnovers. I mean, the Rams had 2 turnovers. Miami had 2 turnovers. Yes. Jared Verse went off on Tua. He had a fumble recovery, a sack, a fumble recovery, forced fumbles on all that stuff. Tua threw interception to Rosenblum. And there's a sequence now of 4 straight turnovers. Rams threw interception. Yeah. Tua throws interception. Kyron fumbles. Rams is like, dang. And Calais Campbell, who was 38 years old, the defensive tackle from Miami, had 3 tackles, 1 sack, 2 pass deflections. And I mentioned earlier, Jared Verse, he had 4 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, and 1 fumble recovery. Sal, the Rams are now 4-5. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, it's definitely not what, the Rams or us fans wanted, but that division is still up for grabs. And the NFC West, there's going to be a lot of games. It's going to go all the way down the wire. So I knew we were going to lose some of the games, but I didn't think we would lose to the Dolphins. But, everything that the Rams need is still in front of them. Those divisional games, especially towards the end of the season, are going to be big for the Rams. And the problems that the Rams are dealing with now are correctable problems. And sometimes it's hard to explain. It's hard to understand. When the Rams came out, they just looked uninterested. They looked flat. They didn't look like there was no sense of urgency. I mean, the offense, it was like they were going through the motions, right? And so, the fans could feel SoFi was dead unless you were a Dolphin fan. But the energy in the stadium was just blah. It was like, it wasn't too exciting. And, you got to give the fans a reason to cheer.
I don't know why they come out flat. You would think a McVay team wouldn't come out flat, but they have a tendency to come out flat. Seattle came out flat. A couple other games this year, they came out flat. Second half, they adjust, but I think like one of the plays when Tua was like 30-19 on the first drives, and the crowds were like electric, and then they got that first down, and then they ended up scoring. It's like, oh man, come on. And then also, Sal, we made the Dolphins defense seem like that no-name defense in 73 because they're just destroying our offensive line. Do you think Steve Avila and the other guy should have came back so quick or should have took another week? I forgot his name. You probably know it, but who was it? It was Jonah Johnson?
Noah Jackson.
Noah Jackson. So I think they should have took probably a week off because they're kind of like rusty, and they probably thought, okay, they're ready. But Calais Campbell's eating them up, and the Dolphins was just so aggressive with us. They were manhandling us. For us to get no touchdowns in the Sean McVay offense with no touchdowns, it was a Cardi Bowl. I appreciate him making the field goals.
I remember when the Rams drafted Cardi, you were super excited. So you got to see the Cardi.
I got to see the Cardi
party, but
he missed. Okay.
You're not going to beat teams with field goals. It was embarrassing.
Yes.
Especially when we were within the 5-yard line, you kick a field goal.
Like I said, sometimes the Rams are allergic to the red zone. If they can't score in the red zone. I love Cardi. I appreciate him making those field goals. And then he made one, right? And then it got called back, and then it turned into a 57-yard field goal, and he missed that. It's like, man.
But I think a lot of times, the players are smart. The players know exactly what's going on. So what you saw where, Paul Limmer was killing it at center, right? Gave him no sacks. The protection, everything he was offering was great. But then when you get the business side, where the Rams were paying, Noah Jackson, big contract. So it's like, okay, you paid him big money. We got to see what we have. So I think the Rams took a chance, but I only would have changed one position. I wouldn't have brought in 2 offensive linemen because the chemistry, it kills the chemistry. Even Kyron had nowhere to run. None of our backs had anywhere to run. And it takes a while because running backs get used to offensive linemen and the way they block. So if you only have a week of practice and you throw them in, the Rams offensive line has never played together. Only on paper. This is the first time that they were actually all together. And, the Rams probably thought the Dolphins aren't really that strong. Maybe it'll be a good game to, try and get your established starting 5 offensive linemen and then, be ready for the second half of the season. But it didn't work out that way.
Yeah, and I said the defense was just aggressive. They're killing us. And then Jalen Ramsey back home, Odell Beckham back home. Those are 2 former Rams, won Super Bowl with the Rams. So, they're going to play extra drilling, extra hard. And Jalen Ramsey was blanking on our receivers. He was blanking them bad. And then, so the fourth quarter, the Rams kick a field goal on 3rd down. Why not just go for the touchdown? Because those 5 seconds.
That's what I'm saying. It's not going to make a difference, right? And also, it's kind of interesting because, when you have a winning offense, right? When your offense is scoring 30-plus points, it makes sense to defer the kickoff. But we're not that offense anymore. To keep deferring, and then your defense, you put a lot of pressure on your young defense, right? So, the Dolphins, they took the opening drive and scored. So now you're behind the 8 ball with a young defense. And you can't be doing that. Sometimes you got to mix it up a little bit. You can't be afraid to change a little.
Yeah, man.
Everyone has their habits, and most of the time it works, but other times it doesn't work. But I'm sure I would love to hear, Matthew Stafford's never going to throw anyone under the bus, but the exchange between the center and quarterback, you get used to that.
Man. Come on, that's important.
There were some of those snaps were questionable.
Yeah.
Right? But even McVay just said that nothing's off the table and there'll be some changes.
And also in the NFL, I noticed when you pay a player, you're going to give him as many chances as you can over somebody who's undrafted and better than them because you're okay, we're paying, say, $25 million. No, we're going to give him 20 chances because we have to justify that money going to that player.
Yes.
Like you mentioned, the undrafted player could be better, but no, he's still undrafted. You know what I'm saying? The next team we're playing, it happened with Tom Brady a lot. Oh, he's just Tom Brady. He's done, until he finally, now he's a great
yeah. So so the Rams, it's becoming a habit where you're starting to let those, deferring, and then the opposing team scores on the first. Any type of score isn't good for a young team. And then the Rams, look how much time they spent on the field, right? Eventually, you're going to give up big plays.
What do you think about Jared Verse? Defensive Rookie of the Year?
Easy.
He's a bad man. Boy.
Yeah, he is. And, he only gets better. He's only getting better. Every game, he's improving. But he's bringing a lot of the younger players with him, too, which is nice. But, this offseason, the Rams the free agency acquisitions just haven't panned out yet. But
you see Cody Parkinson they brought in. He's not,
Well,
that guy, the other tight end, the Bell, his name took over. It's performing. And somebody's performing. You got to get rid of it. You got to sit him on the bench because somebody's better than you. Yeah, we gave you chance after chance after chance. But if you're not being productive, this is a business. If you're not being productive,
that's why I was hoping that if the Rams can stay close, and then you get Higbee back in late November or early December, Higbee's a big difference. He's a more physical tight end. I like Parkinson, but he's not Higbee.
Yeah,
he's more of a receiving tight end. But the Rams need to be physical, and that's why I was excited with Steve Avila because he brings that nastiness to the Rams' offensive line. But Bo Limmer was doing the same thing at center. So I would have put. Last year Steve Avila had a great year at guard.
Yes.
Why are you going to move him to center? It didn't make sense. The only way is to justify that Noah Jackson, acquisition. But sometimes it doesn't work out. The chemistry isn't there.
Yeah.
But yesterday, it was just dead. The vibe in SoFi was dead.
The best part of the day was the tailgate. The tailgate was amazing.
Well, you never lose tailgates.
Yeah, we never lose tailgates. we never go lose tailgates.
Tailgates are always the best.
Yeah.
But us fans are always fired up. Yeah. But on Monday night at SoFi, that's one of the most beautiful.
Veterans Day, we're in prime time.
Everything else was excellent, but you got to give these. Jared Verse is ready for.
And
prime
the Rams
time.
had the next. The Thursday night Vikings prime time. Mm-hmm. Monday night prime time against the Eagles. November 24th is going to be prime time. Mm-hmm. And if the Rams keep on winning, one of those games are going to be flexed. Yes. Either Seattle or Arizona is going to be flexed into a primetime game. So the Rams, I want to see primetime at SoFi.
But you would have to. I don't know how you couldn't be pumped up. You're at home.
Yes.
But the Rams can get back on track. They're going to have to.
Let me go over the NFC West standings. The Cards are 6-4, Niners 5-4, Rams 4-5, and Seattle 4-5. But the good thing is Seattle plays the Niners this week.
Yes.
Sal, who do we go for? Because Niners are a little bit above us, but we kind, or do we go for Seattle?
I'm going to go for Seattle.
I can't root for them.
Yeah, I don't like either of them, but I'll go for Seattle over Niners. That's way too.
I like when they beat each other up, like Seattle Niners.
I wish it was 0-0, right?
Arizona versus.
I wish it was a tie, and then they both take half a loss.
Let me ask you: are the Cards the real deal?
What's scary about the Cardinals is everybody wants to bury them, but every week they're getting more and more confidence. And that's why you never give these teams a chance. Because once you start, first, everybody was down on Kyler Murray, right? And so coach comes in, starts building around him. And then now it's like, first people say, they're playing over their head, they get lucky. But now they're starting to destroy some teams. So when you start doing that, you start looking around and they're like, we're probably the best team in the NFC West. You have to come and take it from us. And, they score a lot of points too. They score a lot of points.
Think about it. They were this close to losing to the Chargers. They went on a field goal. This close to losing to the Dolphins, scoring a field goal. Did you see that hit yesterday? Sunday, he took the hit from the Jets.
Yeah.
But
what's funny is he says, I'm glad that happened. I needed that. I'm like, yeah, right. You need your helmet to fly off and for your face to hit the turf.
Yeah.
But the Rams have to, just have to stay aggressive. And you can't afford to keep losing these games.
Yeah, I just think they came in nonchalant. And I'm like, why are they not fired up? I'm like, come on, this is for the taking. Like, you have a chance to be in first place or again. Now you're like,
especially when you've seen Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald, LeBron James.
That should inspire you. Yeah. When
Mookie Betts.
I know Mookie Betts, right? When you start getting these people coming out to watch you, you should be. That should be automatic in LA to give them a show.
Yeah,
and the Rams didn't do that. Yeah.
Now it's like, come on. Now the Rams, okay, the next game is against the Eagles, so we already know how their fan base is going to be. That's the next home game, I should say. The next game we play on the road is against the Patriots, obviously, but the next main game at SoFi is against the Eagles, and I already know that whatever that stuff is called, man. It's like
EAGLE.
Pumped up because this Thursday they play Miami. They play the Washington Commanders, right?
Commanders.
So that's a battle for first place because the Commanders win. They're in first place. Eagles win. They have a game lead, but then they have 11 days off, Sal. 10 days off before they play.
But I actually would rather play them after being off that long.
Why you think they're going to be chilling?
Well, I think the Rams could, if the Rams, get aggressive again, I think the Rams could beat them. I'm still not sold on Jalen Hurts. I know he's putting up numbers and everything, but I would still take Matthew Stafford over Jalen Hurts.
Oh, as a matter of fact, somebody tweeted me. It's in my phone.
Wait a minute. Is the season over?
He said, season's over. Damon, this is gone. This is gone. We have too many problems. We're done. I'm like, wait, we lost one game in the last 4 weeks? Like, it's just crazy how Twitter.
Is he a motivational speaker?
I don't know what he is, but I'm just like, man.
That's ridiculous.
And I put on Twitter, I put on that before that. I said, nobody's won the NFC West yet. One loss. Okay, y'all, relax. We're on to New England because one lost. Nobody lost the division. Nobody's won the division yet. Who won the division, Sal?
It's not over yet.
It's not over yet. Exactly. We're one game behind the division leaders.
That's why when Kobe would always say, is the job done? Is the job finished?
No, it's not
right?
finished.
And that's one of the reasons why when I would have these Rams rooms, I would always have a big table and people would come in, we're going to lose today. And they're like, I'm going to sit here. I said, no, you're not. What? I said, I don't want no one to sit here. Just me and my daughter will sit here. I don't want anyone else. You guys are negative.
Yeah.
I can't stand that negative energy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just being realistic. I said, okay, do you buy lottery tickets? You go to Vegas? You're going to lose money realistically. I said, at least we have a shot.
Yeah.
Well, I never looked at it that way. I said, it's negative. When you come in and it changes the whole vibe of a room when everyone just is complaining all the time.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. I know the Rams aren't going to win every game. I know the Rams aren't going to complete every pass. There's going to be fumbles and, that's part of football. But a fan sticks behind his team. That's what a fan is about, right? The Rams are going to get enough people picking on them. Their own fan base, included, is bad.
I should have labeled this Titanic Tuesday. It's coming to an end. We're going to sink. We're done, Damon. It's over. Oh, no, this and this.
And then those are
come on.
Those fans are going to be the first ones that are going to say, oh, we're back. And then if you say, wait a minute. I remember when I kept getting messages, the Rams are going to trade Stafford to the Vikings for Sam Darnold and Cooper Kupp. They're going to trade him to the Steelers or the Chiefs. I just kept laughing. I said, okay, anyone else? Anyone else getting traded? When you talk like that, it's just silly.
Yeah, it is.
People talk just to talk. And people put a lot of stuff out there just for, likes or content.
Yeah.
But, you lose credibility the more and more you keep talking about it,
I got DM'd right when the Rams were, man, dude, like I got DM'd from somebody in my Instagram, my Golden Ram Buzz podcast page. Come on, man, why did they switch the line? If they McVay doesn't know what he's doing, why would you do this? I'm just like, listen to the guys in the back. I said, man, relax, let us figure it out.
McVay's been there 8 years. He's taken the Rams to 2 Super Bowls, right? He's going to be the Rams' winningest coach.
Yes.
But some of these fans are never satisfied.
Sal, we could have it worse. We could be a Raiders fan or a Patriots fan. Speaking of Patriots fan, after our commercial break, our guest Nicole Sebrasky will join us.
No, but and I'm sure as a Patriot fan or a fan of, I always meet the best fans when my team's losing.
Yeah. So we'll see what she has to say about this after this commercial break.
Awesome.
Major shout out to our sponsor, La Brea Bakery Bread. You can find La Brea Bakery Bread at all your local retail stores in the bakery section. Once again, take and bake with La Brea Bakery Bread. Joining us now, a lifetime fan of the New England Patriots. She's been there back when they were terrible and they won the dynasty. And guess what? The death of a dynasty because the Patriots are officially over. But look at the jersey she's wearing, number 12. Ladies and gentlemen, born in New Hampshire, raised in Maine, my friend Nicole Sebrasky joins us as a guest. What's up, Nicole? How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having me back.
Last year we had you. We said, if we played you guys this year, we're going to have you again because last year we didn't play you guys, but I just want to know your perspective with Brady being gone and all this other stuff. Now you join us, a Brady Super Bowl jersey. Which one is that you're wearing?
Super Bowl 51, my favorite.
When they beat who?
Atlanta. The 28-3. We came back from 28-3. I
was about to make sure you weren't wearing the Rams one, boy. They wear that Rams jersey, they have to kick you out. But okay, now New England's not what it was, or not. They got a new coach. Who's your coach again? I don't even pay attention to New England, tell you the truth. Who's their coach?
I have no idea. No, I'm just kidding. No, Gerard Mayo's our new coach.
Gerard Mayo's your coach. He used to be a former player. What do you think about that going on? What do you think about it?
I think it's fine for now. I think we're in a rebuilding for the next few years. So I don't have high expectations, which is fine. But I think with the new coach and with the new quarterback, it's been fun to watch at least the last few games and just see what they're doing. But yeah, we're in a rebuilding thing. So I think setting realistic expectations for your team. I think being a fan, like, it's like a long-term, it's a long-term investment. It's over the long haul. So you're going to have ups, you're going to have downs, and that's fine. You just cheer for your team either way. So, but yeah, it's been interesting. It's different than Belichick. But
do you think Mayo, because he's a former player for New England, do you think they should have went a different direction to get out away from the organization, or should they just go? Because Belichick, Mayo's a disciple of Belichick. I mean, what do you think about all that?
I think he has good relationships with the players, and I think that's something that they were hopefully looking for. To be honest, I don't know like the in-depth details of all of it, but I think it's nice to see. I've seen him like kind of joke around and stuff like that with the players and stuff like that. So to have a good relationship with them from what I've seen, and to have that respect, to know, they've come from the same place, but they're going to a different place together, and having that mutual relationship and respect, it brings a different culture, but definitely different than the Belichick culture.
Now, before Drake May, you guys had Mac Jones, and you got rid of him. Just, I don't know. He wasn't good for the organization. Now, Drake May, do you think he's going to take it to the direction that New England is successful used to being, or do you think, you don't know? Because what do you think about that quarterback you guys have, Drake May?
I think Drake May's shown a lot of potential in the short time he's been here. It's definitely fun to watch. When I started watching the beginning of the season, it was kind of like, oh, this is rough. But ever since they started him, it's been more fun to watch. And I know they put a lot of emphasis on the offensive line and things like that. But with Drake May, it's just a different dynamic. And we've been able to get a lot more done with not a lot. Yeah. So, we don't have a great offensive line. I'm not saying it's horrible, but, we're building still. So even our receivers, we don't have any, star receivers or anything like that. We have Stevenson as our running back, but, we really don't have any, big name people other than that. So for what he's been able to do and the dynamic he's been able to bring in the short time, I think it's going to be fun to watch and watch them build up around him. If they build their offense around him, I think we'll do well in the next few years.
You guys had 20-some years of dominance. You had Belichick and Brady, like from 2000, whenever Tom Brady was drafted, always in Super Bowls, like every other year. Now it's like you can't make the playoffs, probably can't win 8 games, 5 games. Now, you said Brady. Who's your favorite all-time New England player and why?
Probably Ty Law.
Okay.
Yeah, he got me into liking cornerbacks. It's my favorite position. I think that's just when I started watching the Patriots that he was playing, and I just like loved his position. So I always loved him. Obviously, I love Brady, everything he brought to the organization. So super grateful for everything he brought us and just who he is and who he stands for. Edelman's a fun one. I like.
He has
him.
a podcast now with Gronkowski. He has a podcast named Gronkowski.
Yeah,
you watch it?
Yeah. I've seen little clips
funny.
here and there. Yeah, it's fun. But yeah, I like a lot of the old time players too, like Willie McGinnis and all that.
55.
So, but yeah.
Now, do you have all of your New England's won 6 Super Bowls. Do you have all merchandise from each Super Bowl when they beat the Rams twice, or they beat they beat Carolina, they beat Eagles? Right. Do you have merchandise from each time they won Super Bowl, or just? No,
I didn't actually start collecting merchandise. My brother actually gave me this jersey. Nice. So I did see like an old picture of mine where I had like a Ty Law poster up in my room. Wow. So back when I was a little kid, and then I believe I have a picture of Ty Law signed, but it's at my mom's house back in Maine, so I needed to get her to send it to me. I don't have a ton of like merchandise. Yeah, we used to go watch the games when I was a kid at Foxborough before it turned to Gillette.
True that.
When Bledsoe was playing, and then I moved out to California when Brady started playing. So, yeah.
That's crazy. When Brady's from California, goes to New England, and you come from New England to California. Right. It's crazy. Now you said your favorite Super Bowl is when they played the Falcons. When they're down 28-3, what were you doing? Were you like, tell me what vibe were you in? What energy were you? Were you at a Super Bowl party? Were you at your family? Describe that day to you when they're down 28-3. Let's get to that point. What were you doing that day? Yeah, I was home with my family. I have a bunch of kids, but my kids were little at the time. So I was just home watching the game, and it was like kind of defeating. And then once fourth quarter came around, we started coming back. I started screaming. The kids were all scared, like, what is going on? What's wrong with mom? But it was so much fun to watch them come back. So I tell people, like, even in the off season, I'll watch Super Bowl 51, just the fourth quarter though, just to get my little football fix. The Edelman catch. Who was the coach of Atlanta that time? The offensive coordinator? Kyle Shanahan, known for throwing up big leads. Kyle Shanahan is known for giving up big leads. Offensive coordinator for the Falcons, up 23. Twice with the Niners in the Super Bowl. So that's what that is. So that's your favorite jersey right there. Well, I mean, I know your favorite player is Tyler, but that's your favorite jersey, Brady, Super Bowl. Yes. Now, my last question is this. Belichick or Brady, pick one. Whose dynasty is it? Who helped create? Who's the one person you got to pick? Brady or Belichick, and why? You can't ask a New England fan that. You got to pick. I mean, come on, because they go through it all the time. Men have egos. Like Brady, well, if he didn't come and get drafted, he switched it because he had Belichick had Bledsoe. Yeah. So is it Belichick's dynasty or is it Brady's? Or I just want to know. You're the only New England fan I can ask. What do you say? What do you think you can say? You can't ask a New England fan. I don't think Belichick's watching. I have to respect the greatest player of all time, the greatest coach of all time. So Brady obviously won 6 with us, went on to Tampa Bay, won another one, and we didn't do great after that. So I have to give Brady a ton of props, but I can't pick one. In my opinion, it's like this. They both need each other, because if Belichick doesn't pick Brady, there's no Tom Brady. Right. But then Brady had to get picked and then had to prove himself because Belichick's, just whatever, he's an afterthought. Right. But to come back 28-3, to beat Seattle, to beat the Rams twice, because I remember when they beat the Rams, they show the film all the time. The safeties are like, man, Brady, he's overrated. Next thing you know, you hear John Madden say, we're going to go into overtime. So he beat the Rams twice, and he's won all these Super Bowls. So it's just like hard. But I want to ask you still, there's no answer. Nobody can give me an answer. But it's like, I say this. I think it's all about collaboration when it comes with team. And that was the thing that I really loved about Brady, because honestly, obviously greatest player, greatest quarterback of all time. And he would constantly take pay cuts to make sure that the people around him and the team around him was good. And that's, I think, how we won dynasties. Is it was always a team effort, and it was never like a
player. Like it wasn't just a specific player, and it wasn't just the coach. It was everybody coming together and working together. And that's why I love my team and I love New England, because we put like the greater good of the team above, just one player. So that's what I do. I love about Brady, that he was willing to make that sacrifice. And he really, he deserved so much more, but he was willing to do that, and he got 6 rings out of it with us. So that was pretty great.
Now, when it's Tampa Bay versus Kansas City, who are you going for in the Super Bowl when Brady was a quarterback? Were you rooting for him or against him?
I was rooting against him.
You were rooting against him?
Yeah. I love him, but once he wasn't on my team, I was like, oh, I can't root for you. But yeah, once he retired, we'll give him all the props back again.
Ladies and gentlemen, New England fanatic Nicole, she came here, she spit facts, and she's wearing her Super Bowl jersey of Tom Brady. She couldn't decide, is it Brady or is it Belichick? So I need to ask Robert Kraft, what is your answer? Thank you, Nicole, for joining us.
Thank you.
Whose house? Rams' house. Great segment with Nicole. She came with some facts. I was like, she broke it all down. She's like, she couldn't pick. I need to know.
It broke my heart when I was thinking about those Ram Patriots.
I was too. I was like, please don't bring the Rams. Please don't let the Rams. Please don't say the first one's your favorite. I'd have been like, dang. But she said, of course, 20-3, man. But it's like, he came back and made him the greatest. You win 6 Super Bowls. You go to, I think they went to 10, or he went to 10 or 9, whatever.
Yeah, I remember watching that game, and I saw when the Falcons were like celebrating and stuff. I thought I would never do that against a quarterback like Tom Brady. Yeah. That's all he needed. But any player that can will his team to Super Bowls, I mean, it's rare. You don't see that. I mean, I love Joe Montana, but Brady was completely different.
I'm going to go over the division standings, and I'm going to go over some highlight games coming up. So, Sal, these are division leaders. NFC West, the Cardinals, followed by the Niners, Cards, Niners, Rams, Seattle. AFC North, Sal, Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Pittsburgh 7-2, Baltimore 7-3, Cincinnati's 4-6, and Cleveland's 2-7. Baltimore and Pittsburgh are on a head-on collision for that division, and that's crazy. AFC West, Sal. We got to talk about the Chiefs are 9-0, the Chargers 6-3, Denver's 5-5, and Las Vegas is 2-7. The Chiefs survive a scare. They block a field goal, 35-yard field goal by Denver. What do you think about that play? Was it luck or was it preparation? Because I seen that.
They kind of remind me of the Rams at the tail end of that Greatest Show on Turf, right? Where you have a lot of talent, but you're not dominating anybody anymore. And that eventually starts running out. You're not going to – what are the odds of blocking a field goal to win a game?
But I'm going to tell you what happened. They showed I watched the film of it. It's the guy that they knew that guy was vulnerable, the way he was set up, because Andy Reid studies. You see patterns like Belichick. You see patterns. That was a weak side of their field goal unit was that guy, because the way he's not a good – something they said, he's like – the way he's in his stance, it's easy to bull rush him and get through. So that's what they did. They put that pressure on that side, and that's what happened. It's like, man, I said the Chiefs are going to go – they're going to win. We already know they're going to win the division. Chargers still are 3 games back, but it doesn't matter how you win if you keep on winning, right? I wish the Rams can win that.
It does matter, because eventually you want to keep improving. You don't want to keep – same thing with the Cardinals. You can't keep winning games by field goals, in the last second field goals. You have to play 4 quarters of football. You have to be a solid team, especially as you enter the playoffs. It gets harder and harder when you get into the playoffs. And, again, that was one of the reasons why I think McVay wanted to – have his starting offensive line so they could get, some games in, develop that chemistry, and they'll be ready for the push in the second half. But you can't, in the NFL, you got to play good football. You can't, the Chiefs to me are kind of boring now. When I watch them play, I'm not that impressed. It's Patrick Mahomes, and then everyone else.
You see what you just said? The Chiefs are boring. Who does that remind you of that was boring in the dynasty years? Who was boring team? New England was boring. New England was boring because when they had high-powered Randy Moss scoring all these points, they lost Super Bowl upset to the Giants. So when they were boring, okay, Edelman is this, a little dink and dunk, but they won Super Bowls. So you don't have to be excited to win Super Bowl. I wish the Rams could be boring and be like 7-1 right now. I wish that could happen, but I understand. I want highlights too.
But in L.A., you can't be boring.
Yeah, we want highlights.
In L.A., Los Angeles is so weird. It's such a different market. Los Angeles, like when the Rams are in St. Louis, in Missouri, the state of Missouri is known as a show-me state. But I tell people, sports fans, Los Angeles is a show-me city. Not only do you have to win, you have to be exciting. LeBron and all these players don't come out to watch boring sports.
They don't want to see.
And I guarantee you, the Rams know that too. And so the Rams will get it together, but you do have to be excited. And eventually, I mean, I would take Pittsburgh as the season plays on. I would actually pick Pittsburgh to beat the Chiefs in the playoffs with Russell Wilson.
Are the Chargers real, Sal? They're 6-3. Are they the real deal? Or
As much as I hate them, yeah, they're starting to come together. I got to give them credit. You know, their defense is playing really well. And if you play good defense, you're going to always have a chance.
That Harbaugh effect. Somebody said this. Somebody's like, the Harbaugh effect, when he leaves a team, they get worse. When he left the Niners, terrible for 3 or 4 years. They couldn't get the coach right. When he left Stanford, kind of in disarray. Yeah. Michigan now, this and that. So it's like, you know, see with the Chargers, you know, he's good with the Chargers. Like, Justin Herbert's not passing as much because Harbaugh does running. So it saves the quarterback a little bit, and can't wait to see what that goes on. Now, this division is scary right here. Detroit 8-1, Minnesota 7-2, and Green Bay 6-3. That division, I want to. It's just like I want them to beat each other up, so the rest could just. I don't know, man. That division is like
I think that division is wide open too. But actually, of those 3 teams, I think Green Bay is the most dangerous. Of those 3 teams.
Still. Even Jared Goff did throw 5 interceptions.
He got bailed out. But it's funny, you can't be MVP and throw 5 interceptions in the first half. Yeah. I mean, the defense. Plus, you know, the Texans. You know, every year there's a quarterback that the media falls all over. You know, like last year it was C.J. Stroud, and then this year it's Jaden Daniels. But you look at like for the Texans, there's no way that was the first team to blow a lead like that.
I know they had him
right. And so it looks like the Texans are regressing a little bit. But I think it's more of the Texans regressing than the Lions, you know, Tom.
And the Texans still going to win the division because it's Texans. Colts with a 50-year-old quarterback, Joe Flacco. Yeah. Come on, they're going to win that division. Now, these are the highlighted games I have coming up. These are games I'm interested in seeing. Thursday Night Football, Washington versus Eagles. Who do you have and why?
Yeah, that game, I'll take the Commanders.
Commanders, okay. I think the Eagles win. Sunday Night Football, Ravens, Steelers.
Yeah, that one, I'm going to take the Steelers.
I got the Ravens. Chiefs, Bills.
I'll pick Bills.
It's in Buffalo. Everybody gets all hyped up. And Mahomes, I trust. Seattle.
The trust is getting thinner and thinner.
Hey, they keep on winning, though. Seattle and Niners, we both said we need Seattle to beat the Niners. And this game, Monday Night Football, Texans versus Cowboys with no Dak Prescott. He just had surgery. He's out for the year, Sal. Texans, what you just talked about, C.J. Stroud. If they lose to Dallas with Cooper Rush, or who is it? Quarterback Cooper Rush, or is it the guy, the third string quarterback from the Niners, Trey Lance?
Yeah, no, it's Cooper Rush. Yeah.
So
you know what's funny? Have you heard him? You know, like before he takes a snap, he goes, "Here we go." He does the same thing. It was so funny because I was cleaning and the game was on, and then when I heard him say, "Okay," you know, before the snap,
here we go.
Yeah, he goes, "Here we go, go," and then I thought, wait a minute, I thought Prescott was injured. And then I came out and he was doing that same thing. And I thought, how sad is that?
See what you did? Okay, repeat what you just said. You said you were doing what when the Cowboys were playing? You were what?
Oh, I was cleaning. I was flossing my cat's teeth. And, you know.
That's how terrible the Cowboys are.
I was doing anything, but I just wanted to hear football in the background. And it happened to be the Cowboys. But yeah, it is bad. But you know what's so funny is when you're losing, they blame everything on something, right?
Yes.
Like now they're complaining about the sun being in their eyes, and they're saying that they should put curtains. they should put curtains on the stadium. But Jerry Jones says, "What do you want to do? Tear it down and build a new one? How come it doesn't affect the visiting teams?"
They said the visiting team only goes once a week. You know, teams. But
but if you play there. Yeah. Wouldn't you design plays not to be in that area? So I mean, it's not that hard.
What you just said, right? Then they had a press conference with Mike McCarthy. They had like a shade for him to talk. And how are you going to block the Cowboys are done.
Yeah, Cowboys are,
You guys are done. None of that. How about them Cowboys? You guys are just done. It's Cowboys done. Raiders done. Sorry, Nicole. Patriots are done. Them 3 teams. Carolina too. They're done. No more talk about them. You know, I'm gonna call Nicole. Rams are gonna win. I need the Rams to win. Sal. Oh, speaking of this, what do you think about what's gonna happen with Rams and Patriots game? What's your thoughts on that?
Rams Patriots game. It'll be a good game. I think it's gonna be a low scoring game, but I think the Rams beat them. But the Rams, it won't. Right now, the Rams are kind of struggling, but I think the Patriots, they'll play well enough. They'll give the Rams a game, and I think the Rams need that type of challenge.
It's a 10 a.m. game, right?
Yeah,
traveling across country to play the Patriots. Could be why the Rams have to come out, man. I want them to just. I don't know. I think Rams win 17-7. I know.
So do you think they should stop deferring the kickoff?
I mean, they did it to Seattle. They deferred, but second half, they got the momentum back. So it all depends. Like, I don't know. Like, second half.
But if you've been in the red zone 6 times and you can't score, all you can score is a field goal. Yeah. For me, I'm going to challenge my offense. I'm going to say, you know what? You're going to take the kickoff and you're going to march down the field and score.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. But you have to change your ways a little bit.
I'm going to check
it's hard because in the press conferences, when you're talking to Mike LaFleur, really, I mean, he has no power. He's not calling the plays. Yeah. McVay is. So really, sometimes you have to just kind of, mix it up a little bit.
I don't know what the weather's going to be. I'm going to check. I'll be checking weather patterns. I need to know what the weather's going to be like.
Yeah, we need all the help.
Yeah, we need
right now.
I'm not going to go, it's snowstorming. Come on, man. New England's used to that. Rams, come on. Some people played in college.
But you know what the funny thing is? Think about this. I mean, Brady is from California. And yet Brady played in how many games in the snow?
Belichick would made him practice in the snow.
Right. It's a mental thing.
Yes.
I laugh sometimes when the players would say that, they're going into a town where, it's snowing and freezing. And they find every piece of equipment to wear. And then they come out of the tunnel and they see this guy with no shirt on.
And they're like, what?
Yeah. And they said they kind of get embarrassed. It's a mental thing. That's why I'm a big fan of George Allen, the Rams' former coach when I was a kid. And no matter where the Rams were playing, every time they'd get off the plane, he'd take a deep breath and say, "Oh, perfect. This is Ram weather."
Yeah.
And that's how you have to think. It's mental.
Another episode of Going Around Buzz. Big shout out to our guest, Nicole Sebrasky, Patriots fan. I'm going to call her as soon as that game ends with the Rams victory. Now, if the Rams lose, Nicole, don't call me.
Airplane mode.
You know what I'm saying? Airplane mode. Big shout out to our guest, La Brady Bakery Bread, Recover 180, Taqueria. I forgot the name. What's it called?
Navarro's
Taqueria. My bad, Rico. I was thinking about Rico, though. Big shout out to Navarro's Taqueria. Big shout out to Jason. Big shout out to Angel. Big shout out to Moss Altos. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. This Thursday, 5 p.m., the episode will be on whose house?
Rams' house.
Whose house?
Rams' house.
Whose house?
Rams' house.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Damon, let's eat. Let's go.
Whose house? Rams house. You know who we rollin' with. Rams Buzz Podcast. Hit like, share, and link. Whose house? Rams house. You know who we rollin' with. Rams Buzz Podcast. Home of the